Hello there, guys, and welcome back to the 6 Yard Banter. Your front row seat to the Premier League's top six drama with a Chelsea twist. Here, it's Chelsea first and rivals next. Like I said in my previous video, without Chelsea in the Premier League will be very boring. Chelsea, on a daily basis, have something to give the footballing fans something to talk about. Today, we have some exclusive updates on the future of Emanuel Emegha, the Kudus saga, and Enzo Maresca's footprint Brentford press conference where he talked about squad depth, Cucurella, Enzo Fernández, even the number 9 situation. So, without wasting much of our time, let's just go right straight into it. So, yeah, we'll start with what Fabrizio posted earlier on today. So, according to Fabrizio Romano, it's already a year we go for Chelsea, as Chelsea have agreed a pre-contract for Emanuel Emegha to join in 2026 on a 7-year deal. Now, for those who don't know Emanuel Emegha, he's been making waves at Strasbourg. He wanted to apparently stay there and lead the team in Europe and then make the big step up. And that's exactly what this deal allows for him. Chelsea are smartly looking at a player who's got the blend of physical presence and technical ability. He's Dutch. He's tall and he's powerful, and he's got Isak type of play in him. And if you've watched him, you'll know that he really shows it. Obviously, it's still raw though, but by the time it's by this time in 2026, okay, I want to believe that he's going to be more ready to make the big step up than now. Okay, so we can be talking at a striker who's actually entering into his prime. The key takeaway here is that Chelsea are thinking long term, but then again, I would say uh, this is honestly, even though it's exciting, it doesn't help Enzo Maresca now because, like I said in other videos, Chelsea are so focused on the future, on the tomorrow, the future. What's happening? What's going to happen now? What do we do about now? Okay, so we've seen this pattern before. Project players for tomorrow, but the current manager is left. That's Enzo Maresca is left with patching holes with what he's got today. Still, just to not sleep on Emanuel Emegha, because in the end, I feel like even though that Enzo Maresca is going to be, he's definitely going to be feeling outdone by, especially with the way injuries are starting to plague the squad. Now, so let's just quickly talk about Mohamed Kudus, because it was revealed earlier today that Chelsea agreed personnel terms with Mohamed Kudus, and this one, like the Xavi Simons, really hurt. Okay, if there was anything, I was hoping that Chelsea would definitely have Kudus in the squad. And if we had to miss out on Xavi Simons, he would not have bothered because we would have Kudus. Chelsea actually agreed personal terms early in the window, planning to bring him planning to bring him in so he would be available for the FIFA Club World Cup. The offer was £40 million plus Kyrian, that's KDB and Dewsbury all as part of the package. And obviously, apparently, West Ham rejected the offer. Chelsea never went back for it. And you've just got to ask, why did Chelsea not push harder? Kudus is smashing it already in Tottenham, and is exactly and obviously what Enzo Maresca needs: the dynamism, the creativity, the explosiveness in his play and in attack. Instead, Chelsea pivoted to and they played around with other options, even with Xavi Simons and Fermin Lopez, that they still ended up not going for, and they settled for Facundo Buonanotte. Maresca has apparently admitted that is Buonanotte is just going to be a squad rotation player. So in the end, I feel like we were still doing a disservice to Enzo Maresca by not getting him what he wants. And there is a place I think I don't know if I mentioned I talked about it in the previous video where I said at some point Enzo Maresca would want to uh, compete and not just be about building players and improving players. We will want ready-made players to be able to challenge at some point. So this is just really really frustrating, not just for Enzo Maresca but for the fans as a whole. Okay, Chelsea identified the right targets. They had the structure of a deal, and then instead of pushing that little bit further, they hesitated. Kudus at Chelsea changes and everything changes the dynamics and the complexities of our attacks. Like it makes it even like more lethal. Okay, and Chelsea, I'm not going to be surprised if Kudus ends up scoring against Chelsea, and that's just going to be like a slap on the face of Chelsea for passing him on and not taking him seriously. Okay, so let me know what you guys think about that. And so Maresca has also was interviewed during his press conference, was asked certain questions, and one of the questions he was asked was that he was asked on the start of the season and improving players, and it was clear improvement. He said improvement comes from improving players individually. He named Czech, Cucurella, Enzo Fernández, Moise Caicedo, and even Levi Colwill, all of whom have come on leaps since last season. And if you look at it, they really, really, excuse me, they've really, really improved, and that's encouraging. He's backing the squad actually to grow even more, not just waiting on signing new players. He talked about Enzo Fernandez. He admitted that Enzo struggled at the start of last season with the demand of his system and style, but once he clicked, is obviously being a different player. He has transformed and changed completely. Enzo looks much better in control, dictating play and breaking lines, and especially the box crashing, where he crashes late into the box to unpicked, unmarked. And if you notice, last season he was starting to score goals that no one expect. And the most profound of them all was when he scored against Tottenham, where Cole Palmer found him from across, and he whipped the ball with his left foot. And yeah, so that's one. It's a huge positive that Maresca is tailoring his system around Enzo Fernandez rather than forcing him into uncomfortable roles like Pochettino tried to do, and the other coaches. He also talked on Marco Cucurella. Cucurella's turnaround is another big storyline. Maresca praised his hunger to improve, and you can see every day that Cucurella is a life wire in the Chelsea squad. Okay, from a player most fans wrote off, and to be honest, at some point I gave up on Cucurella, and just overnight he just changed completely, transformed. He's now someone fighting hard for a starting spot, and that's coaching in action. If you understand what I mean, that's down to kudos to the latter end of Pochettino change in play or style of play, and then Enzo Maresca continued from there. And then he just talked about the squad overall. He was asked, he said that he was already in love with the squad a year ago, even before he joined. And while changes have been made, he still believes it's good enough. That's a subtle way of saying I will work with what I've got. And if you look at it, it's just saying that even though this is not everything, that this is not giving me what I want, is going to try as much as possible to make the best of what he's got. And I hope that the sporting directors and those in charge actually get the cue from what he has said, because it's obvious that something is lacking. It needs something to be able to work. And even John Terry came out to say something earlier. He said that the only thing missing in Chelsea is that we're missing out on Marcus signing top players. I understand that the structure that Chelsea are setting um, is to create pathways for players from sister clubs and the likes, and not to stifle their development and all that. But I still feel that we can always make an exception for one good player. One good player cross the I's and dots the I's and crosses the T's. Okay, just like look at Isak. Before Isak joined Liverpool, they were already working on doing very well with Ekitike, Mohamed Salah, Cody Gakpo. Do you understand? And Isak just takes Liverpool from a very, very good team, good squad, to a different level. If you understand what I mean, like it is the cherry on the cake for Liverpool, and that's what we're missing. We would have. I remember when Chelsea would have a very good squad, and yet we still and Abramovich still have to dip into the transfer market to just get what, even if it's just Marcus signing. We end up getting, and that like cements everything and solidifies the team's title challenge ambition. And that's what Terry has also come out to say, that we miss out, we can't afford to, even though we're trying to create pathways for players and all that, we also should be able to want a star player, want a Marcus signing, and that's just going to change the mentality and the 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 trajectory. Like it takes it from one level to another. Okay, and Maresca talked about, he also talked about the striker situation, and he said it's a big one, and he said outright that the only natural striker that Chelsea have right now is McGee, who is still very raw. Okay, although we have Tyreek George who can play up front, but it's still not his position. Tyreek George is still raw, and he has not even learned, he's not even perfected playing on the left wing. And because we're short in striking options, he has had to test and experiment with Tyreek George. He played against Fulham before the international break, and we could see that he was doing everything he can, but you could see that Tyreek George is not a striker; he's a left winger, and he's not even developed. He has not mastered it well. He's still growing into being a left winger. Okay, and now Delap is injured. We had to recall McGill back from where was it called back from? Sunderland. Was it Sunderland? Yeah, Sunderland. And it's like getting someone who's not have ample opportunity to. And I think this was the same thing that happened to Nicholas Jackson, where he was given 2 seasons, and because there was no competition and all that, he felt relaxed and all that. Although it's a bit different, giving a player that is unproven in all fronts, okay, to lead a line or a team like Chelsea. It's like we're setting him up for failure. Luckily, we have Joao Pedro who can also play there, but Joao Pedro is not an out and out striker. That's the thing. Okay, so now they're giving McGee the torch to carry the team. It's not ideal, and Maresca knows it. He's spinning it positively, but reading between the lines, he wants another proper striker. And he doesn't have. He's just going to have to make do with what he has until January, and even in January, I don't think we are going to be going into the market for a striker for like a stopgap situation. He also talked about the the Brazil trio in Esteval, Andre Santos, and João Pedro. He said they only just arrived back from international duties in Bolivia. So it's a question mark. Is not what we, and the trip is just too long and all that, and it's a question mark if they'll be able to feature against Brentford, which means that the squad is even thinner. Ah, that tells you it's a very sticky situation. This one. He also made comments on Facundo Bonanete. He said Bonanete is a good player and will get minutes because of the number of competitions. Sounds like he sees him as a rotation, not a game changer, which circles back to the Kudus conversation. Maresca wanted impact players, but he's just got squad fillers, and it is just frustrating. I'm so angry, and for a part of me is quite jealous of Tottenham for having both Xavi Simons and Mohamed Kudus. These are targets that Enzo Maresca was excited about, and it's just not making sense. It's just not making sense. He talked about the FA. The FA charges was brought up to him, and Maresca brushed it off. He said that he's focused on the pitch. Players aren't distracted because I mean, like I said, I don't expect this to be an on-field issue. It's something that is outside sporting. It's something that is out. It's not in the sporting um, um, environment or sporting aspect of the club. It's the business sides of it. Okay. It's just said, which is actually his response is just very classic, and I think you, I wasn't expecting any different from him from what he said. So to just sum it up, uh, Chelsea have pulled off a smart future signing in Emega, but once again missed out on immediate impact players like Kudus, Xavi Simons. Maresca's press conference shows he's optimistic, but the cracks are obvious. We are thin up top, reliant on youngsters, and still not fully equipped with the profiles he wants. The board are planning for 2026. Maresca needs it, how much it needs impact players right now cannot be overemphasized. It needs players like right now, like as soon as yesterday. And that's the Chelsea story in a nutshell. Okay. What do you guys think about everything that's been said? And are Chelsea building smart for the future, or are they failing to support Maresca properly in the present? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. And now to wrap up, let's talk about my Chelsea lineup against Brentford. Looks Chelsea's going to be Chelsea. I think Chelsea's game happens to be the last for tomorrow. Okay, in the Premier League, and this one is looking like a very tricky one. And before I put up my lineup, I have two lineups because of the whole situation that has just been highlighted in everything that I've said. So yeah, without further ado, this is my lineup. So this is my first starting lineup, and the reason behind this lineup is because I feel like we already have uh the Champions League, our first Champions League game on Wednesday, and we need to find a way to um, um, rotate players and manage players. And I know that some of you are going to be shocked with some of the decisions that I've made with Rhys James and Cucurella. And yeah, so I think that this will be my ideal lineup. But then if Chelsea have taken the lead and all that and secured the point, 3 points, I feel like we can make substitutions where we can rest some of the important players. And I stress the important players like Reece James, Cucurella, Caicedo, and Esteval and Joao Pedro. Joao Pedro especially, because if anything happens to Joao Pedro or Moises Caicedo, let's just end the season already. So this is my lineup with Sanchez in goal, Tosin and Trevor at the centre back, Reece James right back, and Cucurella left back, Enzo and Caicedo at the midfield base, and Esteval playing from the 10 because we're not. Maresca has confirmed that Palmer trained just briefly yesterday and is unsure what the outcome of today's training in the afternoon would be. And if that's the case, I feel like we shouldn't risk him. We shouldn't risk playing Palmer if he's not 100% fit, because anything happens to Palmer, is our star player and we have to protect him. I believe that this remaining crop of players should be able to do a job at Brentford, against Brentford. So with Esteval playing the 10 and Garnacho, I think the reason I'm playing Garnacho is because he's Premier League proven and more experienced than Jamie Gittins. Jamie Gittins is still adapting to the pace and the intensity of the Premier League, and Neto on the right rather, because that's Neto's favorite position and all that, and Joao Pedro as the striker. And if we happen to be leading and it looks like Chelsea are in control, I think that Chelsea should make change as soon as possible. So this is my lineup, and then on the bench we have Junction, Fofana, Badiashile, Hato, Gusto, Santos, Lavia, Buonanotte, Gittins, and Cole Palmer. And then this is my second lineup. So with most of the players were back at Cobham training, and most of them did not have to travel so far, except the Brazilian trios and Caicedo. I think we still have enough in the tank or in the team to be able to get a job done against Brentford. And with Sanchez in goal, Chaluba and Tosin did not go for They didn't go for the. They were not called up. Gusto and Hato. I want to believe that Hato should be able to do something on the left with Caicedo and Enzo. If, like I said in the other lineup, once we see that we are controlling, we can bring on the other boys like not Lavia, I mean Santos. And because I'm putting Maguire up top because it's the only out and out striker that we have presently that is fit to play. Joao Pedro can play behind him instead of Esteval, because Esteval is still coming back and still adjusting to life in England and in the Premier League. I want to think that Gittins playing from his preferred position, he should have adapted by now. I mean, he should be able to. It's Brentford. I know that they're going to want to pack the bus and all that. So, and that's why we need is close control and everything. And then we also have Neto on the right. I think this should also be able to do anything. However, I think that we need to find a way to protect Reece James and Cucurella. Joao Pedro and Moises Caicedo. Those are the most important players for Chelsea right now, and we have to find a way to protect them. That's all. That's all about. That's what I think about my lineup. And when it comes to score prediction, I think Chelsea should win. I'm predicting that there will be lots of corner kicks, but then Chelsea should be able to do a job on Brentford, and I think Chelsea 3, Brentford 1. that's all for now. And if there are any other news that comes up, we'll be sure to bring them here to discuss with them. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And it's Chelsea first and rivals next. Peace.